Life results are so phenomenal. I'll challenge anyone, any place, to compare their results with ours.
Call 1-800-LINDORA today and ask about our Spring into Summer special.
Summer's the perfect time to dive into SeaWorld with Denny's and CBS 2. Just visit any participating Los Angeles area Denny's and enter the Dive into SeaWorld Summer Sweepstakes. It's your chance to win 4 free family passes to SeaWorld, to experience the new Pirates 4D attraction, and win great food prizes from Denny's. One grand prize winner will get to take the plunge in SeaWorld's Dolphin Interaction program. Enter the Dive into SeaWorld Summer Sweepstakes at Denny's and watch Dive into SeaWorld Saturday, July 1st on CBS 2.
Mike Boguslawski on CBS 2 News, the station of the people.
Survivor's the #1 show in America. Don't miss a minute. All new Survivor, CBS tonight.
You are getting so heavy. What's this? What's this? Oh, hang on. Emily Stewart.
Emily, I cut my teeth in business making people honor their agreements.
David.
Yeah, sharp girl. I see you picked up some baby lotion and some diapers. But I'm curious, how do you have all this time to shop when you don't have any time to work on the Intruders campaign to get me a new trial?
How do you know what I've bought?
I managed to keep up.
Who's following me, David? Who's watching me?
It's gonna be all right, Lily. You know, I promise you, it's going to be all right.
How can it ever be all right again? I've been away from my family for so long, and my children don't know whether I'm alive or dead.
Look, listen to me. Listen, you are alive, and that is the first step in getting back to them.
We're lost, you see. It's hopeless. I see what you've done with that cave, and it's so warm and comfortable, and it reminds me of my home, and I want to go home.
I know.
The way you set yourself up there, you can probably live here for the rest of your life.
No, I can't. I'm just trying to make the best of it, that's all.
I don't want to make the best of being in some sand dune in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I just can't stop thinking about Holden and Faith and...
Just think, Lily, how lucky you are.
Oh, I feel so lucky.
Yes, you are. Because at least you've got your family's love to cling to. You know, a reason to give you hope. Look, the storm's getting a lot closer, and by the looks of that sky, it's going to be a bad one. A hurricane or close to it, okay?
I'll call it Hurricane Celia after that terrible sister of yours.
Look, this beach is pretty narrow.
What do you mean?
It's going to be covered in water in a couple of hours, okay? We need to get back to the cave, all right? We've got to barricade ourselves in for the night.
Oh, Holden, I'm so glad I found you. I missed you at the station.
Lucinda, what are you doing here?
Is Lily in the house?
No, she's not here. Why?
Good. We've had new developments. And you know I've been upset. I've been very concerned about Lily.
Yeah, well, so have I. And I have to tell you, our marriage, it's
But now there's something else that's very disturbing.
What are you talking about?
Lily has been cashing in some bonds. $2 million worth.
Let's keep this simple. Okay, the Katie Peretti videotape. You have it. I want it, so please give it up. I told you. I don't have it. And I told you that Henry Coleman was pretty specific in saying that you had it.
Lily, you know that man lies like a rug.
I also know that there's something that indicts Katie on that tape, and I need to see it.
Lily, I would really like to help you, but I can't. I'm really busy right now. As you can see, I'm getting ready for something very special.
That's a nice outfit. Your hair could use a little something. Look, Molly, come on. Molly, we're on the same team here. You're the one who told me about Katie Peretti going after my husband.
Yeah, but that was before...
Look, nobody has to know that you gave me the videotape. Okay, so just give it to me, and then you can go fix your hair.
Hello?
Hey, you're there. That's a good sign. Listen, I'm running a little bit behind schedule for our date of the century, but believe me, it's definitely going to be worth it. Molly. Hey, you there? Molly, you okay? I'm betting you're dressed.
I am.
And debating whether or not to retrieve that tape out of the trash so you can take one last peek on the VCR, right? Look, Molly, I came on strong about choosing between Payback or me because I like you. I like you a lot, and I just cannot get pulled into another scheme like this, you know? I mean, it may seem simple now, but it's bound to get messier.
You don't have to worry. I didn't change my mind.
No, that's what I wanted to hear.
You know, I am really glad that you called. And I'll see you when you get here. You know, Lily, revenge often jumps up to bite you in the butt.
Hey, what? Was that your conscience on the phone?
Ever since I got out of a coma, I am like a new woman.
Okay, I understand that, believe me. All right, the new and improved Molly needs to keep her nose clean. You remember Hot and Cold?
Excuse me?
The children's game. I was playing it with Luke yesterday. So why don't you tell me when I'm hot if I'm near the videotape, and then cold when I'm not?
That's nuts.
No, it's a win-win situation. You see, I get the tape, and you do keep your nose clean. Let's just get one thing straight. I'm not leaving here without that tape.
Who are you?
We all do dumb things. Paying too much for car insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. We all do dumb things. Paying too much for car insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Lever 2000, because one person wants soft-feeling skin, and another great-smelling skin, and another clean skin, and they're all in your family. Lever 2000, for all your family's 2,000 parts.
At Purex, we know that Americans work more, sweat more, and play more. That's why we've created a detergent that does more. New Purex Advanced, with a double-action formula that fights tough stains. Action 1 removes dirt and surface stains. Action 2 goes deeper to help remove the remaining traces of stains. So get more out of life. We'll get more out of your clothes. Purex Advanced.
I'm here to demonstrate how Whiskas' new savory nuggets with crispy outsides and soft centers compare to the typical dry cat food. Observe the difference at impact. Now ours. Trying this again.
These cats are totally ruining the experiment.
New Whiskas with savory nuggets. What cats want.
I just want to smile. I want to take a walk in the sun.
I want to go outside.
I want to
smooch with my husband.
I want to hold my baby.
New Motrin migraine pain caplets for people who don't fool around with pain.
You are amazing. Is there anything you can't do?
Your baby's growing quickly, so it's no wonder that by the time he's 4 months, his calcium needs increase more than 50%. That's why there's Carnation Follow-Up, the only formula with the extra calcium active babies need, plus savings up to 20%.
Sorry, no driving till you're 16.
Carnation Follow-Up from Nestle, also available in soy.
No, I don't want to go back to your cave.
Look, we won't survive this storm if we don't.
I just want to get off this island. I want to go home.
I know, Lily, I know. And I swear, if I could magically transport us away from here, I would. But listen, we need to stay alive, all right? That's all that counts until we find a way off this island.
How long do we have?
Not much. And we need to rig a makeshift door for the cave. So just start looking along the beach for anything, okay? Wood, leaves, vines, anything that we can tie together.
We're
Where did she get this check?
That was hand-delivered by Tom Hughes.
Tom Hughes. Why would she go to Tom Hughes? She hasn't gone to him for legal help in years.
Oh,
But to cash bonds? What's so secretive?
More atypical behavior and a long list.
Yeah, well, it's been like that ever since she got back from Atlantic City.
Holden, I have no intention of allowing Lily, in her present state of mind, to have that kind of money at her disposal, not without an explanation.
What else have you noticed about Lily lately?
Many, many things. I'm profoundly disturbed, and I don't just mean the jokes and the stupid painting and the party and... Did you notice, by the way, that she's got all of her jewelry stashed in a little train case?
Stashed? What, like she's gonna run away with it? What?
I don't know, but I saw it the night of the party.
What do you think she's gonna do? You think she's gonna try and take it and sell it?
Holden, please help me. Tell me what you think, why she might be putting this kind of money together.
I don't know. Maybe she's being blackmailed.
By who?
Simon Fraser. The guy's broke, right? I wouldn't put it past him to try and extort money from her.
No, I don't think that she'd give him a cent.
Yeah?
No.
What if it wasn't coerced? What if it's not all for him?
What is that supposed to mean?
Maybe she's taking the money to try and set them up somewhere.
Oh, Holden, and leave you, and leave her children, never.
Listen, it's not all that far-fetched. She has already left the house, and she went over to Cal's place.
If she went across the lawn, darling, this kind of money would get her across the ocean.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm worried about here.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I do not believe that Lily would give up everything that she cares about in her life as some con artist, and not her kid. She fought for that baby. She will not walk away.
Yeah, but what if she wants to take the children with her?
You stop. That's just your hurt feelings talking. Now, she has moved out temporarily, and that's bad enough, but you've got to learn to put things together in a better way.
Listen, I'm looking at the facts here. Simon appears, Lily runs off, she goes to Atlantic City, she comes back, she's completely secretive about everything, she's completely distant, and now she's hoarding jewelry and $2 million. I mean, any fool can see that she's trying to leave me and run away from this family here.
Okay, you take it easy. I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. I'll find out what's really going on.
Lucinda, no. No, you cannot do that. I need to handle Lily myself.
Diamond here.
You are not the Lily Snyder that I know.
Of course I am. You're just seeing me through this fresh state of mind. You know, frankly, you're the one that I don't recognize. Why are you so protective of Katie Peretti all of a sudden?
I haven't changed my mind about Katie.
Was it Mr. Phone Call?
Well, yeah. That was Jake McKinnon.
I saw you two at Holden's birthday.
This is a CBS News special report. From CBS World Headquarters in New York, good day. I'm John Roberts. After 7 months and 3 days in the United States, Elián González is going home. His father, Juan Miguel González, now at Dulles Airport in Virginia, just outside of Washington, addressing the crowd as he's about to depart.
Quiero agradecer al pueblo norteamericano por todo el apoyo que nos han brindado y al gobierno norteamericano.
I want to thank the North American public for bringing my child home.
A pesar de todo el sufrimiento,
although I've suffered a lot, my family,
creo que esto ha
I believe that this has helped, and I have met many wonderful and smart people here in the United States, and I think that there may be a future and a friendship.
Esta misma impresión que me he llevado yo de este pueblo norteamericano puede haber la misma
I have a good impression of the North American country, and I am very thankful for everything that they've done for me. And I'm very happy, and I'm going to go back to my country. Words cannot express my happiness.
We are happy to go home. Thank you.
Juan Miguel Gonzalez with a very short statement thanking the American people for their support, whatever degree of support was given by the American people in this case. And now he is heading back to the People Mover at Dulles Airport, which is a way that people get around from the main terminal out to the gates where the aircraft are, which has been used as a temporary customs office. There you can see Elián González wearing the white pants, hanging on. He's become a strap hanger there for a little while, getting prepared to leave to Cuba in what should be just a few moments. Bob Orr has been out at Dulles Airport for several hours now, waiting for this moment to occur. And Bob, what happens from here?
Well, John, from here, of course, Elián González and his immediate family, also a teacher and one of his cousins, will be getting on one of the planes out here on the tarmac and heading for Havana. They will be accompanied by a second private jet that will have on it 8 other people, plus the pilots, and those would be the 4 friends from Cuba that were brought here by the government to keep Elián company after he was flown to the Washington area, and their 4 parents, guardians, or sponsors who have been here with them. It's been interesting to watch, John, for about the last 30 minutes. At first, when Elián was taken up the stairs of the People Mover Lounge, he was not in sight. The paperwork was going on. The INS agents were there. The customs folks were there. They were looking through the bags out on the tarmac. But then about 25 minutes into that, I think he started to get into the festivities here on the tarmac. There are about 100 cameras and different members of the media here, and he came to the window and has been playful, waving, almost flirting, as it were, with the cameras. So this is obviously a big day in his life. He seems to be very, very happy. And we're told that because of concerns about the weather, that once they do come out of the People Moving Lounge here and get on the airplanes, they will not be staying here very long. They want to try to get away from Dulles for the 3-hour flight back to Havana, because weather moving in from the west can be a concern.
And Juan Miguel González almost tripping coming down the stairs there as he leads Elián out onto the tarmac, saying final goodbyes to some of the people who have helped them along the way. That's Joan Brown Campbell from the National Council of Churches there, whose organization provided much of the funding for some of the transportation and some of the stay here in the United States. Bob, what do you figure it is? A 2-hour, 45-minute flight thereabouts back into Havana from here?
Well, I think so. We were talking about that earlier. Something just shy of 3 hours as we watch Elián and his family walk to this plane. This plane is a British Aerospace private jet. It's a very nice plane. I've been on it myself, John, and it's very fast. About 3 hours they can expect to be in Havana. Of course, that is weather permitting. We've asked the FAA what route they might take and whether a flight plan's been filed. And the government, I think, is through cooperating on this case as far as we're concerned. They have not told us that. But normally we would expect them just to go down along the East Coast and then straight over. It's not a difficult trip.
Right. That was his stepmother, Nirsi, and his stepbrother, Yanni, there. A couple of final goodbyes from Elián and Juan Miguel González as they get into that private jet. They'll close up the door, roll out onto the tarmac. I would imagine, Bob, that they probably won't be number 15 for takeoff here at Dulles. They'll probably get out quite soon.
I think everybody here understands what's going on. This is a very high-profile situation, and I think we can bet that all good speed will happen in terms of getting these 2 private planes out. I don't know which one will go first, but they're both very, very fast. The takeoff times are minimal, and I don't think that the big jets would mind standing aside for a moment, John.
All right, Bob, for what we can expect when Elián arrives in Havana in about 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours from now, Byron Pitts is on the telephone from Havana. What does Fidel Castro have planned, Byron?
Well, John, at this point, the Cuban government says there will be, quote, a low-key reception once the family arrives back in Havana. There is a real sense of excitement building at this hour. We were at an elementary school in Old Havana when the announcement was made on television that Elián was returning to Cuba. Children cheered and teachers cried. It was a very emotional moment. The expectations, once they arrive, again, there will be a low-key reception at the airport, a few friends and relatives, and Fidel Castro. From there, at that point, the family's set to go into seclusion. Fidel Castro said in the past, quote, "We won't make a show. We are not like the Miami people." Another Cuban official has said, quote, "We will protect the family's privacy and the child's psychology." As for the future, he again will stay in that seclusion for some time, perhaps several weeks before he's allowed to go back to Cardenas to his life there. John, about 7 months ago, the Cuban exiles in South Florida nicknamed Elián Freedom's Child. Well, at this moment, he is free to return to communist Cuba. John?
All right, Byron Pitts in Havana, and Byron will be continuing our coverage from Havana on tonight's CBS Evening News when Elián arrives back home after being here for now 7 months and 3 days. He arrived, as you'll recall, on Thanksgiving Day, 1999. It was quickly found within a day that he had relatives in Miami. He stayed with those relatives for the next 4.5 months until April the 6th, when Juan Miguel González, his wife, and their son arrived in the United States. And then shortly thereafter, on April 22nd, there was the now famous raid at the home of his Miami relatives, in which Elián González was spirited out of Miami and to the Y River Plantation in Maryland, outside of Washington, the scene of some recent peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians. Stayed there for a while, and then he moved a little closer to his attorney, Gregory Craig, at the Rosedale estate, which is near the U.S. Naval Observatory, which is the home of the Vice President, which is just off of Massachusetts Avenue in northwestern D.C., formerly the home of Colonel Uriah Forrest, and a place that was visited on occasion by the man probably most associated with freedom in this country, George Washington, back in the 1700s. Bob, I take it what they're doing now is they're just going through their checklist, spooling up the aircraft, and they'll be moving out pretty soon?
I think that's right. It's the last pre-flight checks. We do notice that the captain's side window is still open, John, so they're not going anywhere yet. They're probably waiting for some ramp information. But the engines have already been spooled up. I'm sure you can probably hear those in the background. The second plane, which is just about 100 yards or so on down the tarmac, also has now been started, and I think we can expect both of these small jets to move out momentarily. We're in the cargo area out here at Dulles, if you're familiar with the airport. And in order to make the takeoff, they're going to be going out this direction. They're going to have to taxi down this way to the end of the runway and then take off. And then from there, it's just to turn out to the east and on south. John?
What I'm wondering, Bob, and perhaps the FAA has not disclosed this information, will they follow the typical route south, which is just a few miles offshore, following down the coastline of the Carolinas through Florida and then over the Straits and into Havana, or would they actually get out of U.S. airspace by going east and then turn south?
I think it's just speculation. I would expect, and no one has told me this, I would expect they would follow the normal routes. They would want the normal air traffic control handoffs, and unless they wanted to make some kind of statement that, frankly, most people would miss, I don't think there's any real hurry, quote unquote, to get out of American airspace. Juan Miguel here made a very gracious statement. There were hugs and kisses all around and a few tears in the crowd. I think that they're making a gracious exit, and I would expect them just to follow the normal route, if you will.
All right, Bob. Pictures you're looking at now is the motorcade carrying Elián, the friends who arrived from Cuba a few weeks ago to spend some time with him. His attorney and his family left the Rosedale estate in northwestern Washington, D.C. as they made their way for what was about a 35-minute trip through some very crowded roads along Interstate 66 and then to the Dulles Airport freeway. It took about 35 minutes to get there. They arrived at about 43 minutes after 3 o'clock Eastern Time. They had to go through the process of clearing customs on the way out. They had to surrender what anybody who has visited this country as a foreigner knows is an I-94 immigration form. And an interesting little piece of nuance, the only person who did not have one of those forms was Elián González, because he did not arrive here through a customs port. He arrived here on an inner tube. Statement by Attorney General Janet Reno, who has always believed that Elián should return back home. I'm very pleased today that the Supreme Court has declined to review the case of Elián González. The law has provided a process, and this little boy now knows that he can remain with his father. Of course, it was the Supreme Court who cleared the way for Elián to leave by not hearing an appeal of his case after all 12 judges of the 11th Circuit said that they were not going to review the case after it was handled by 3 judges of the 11th Circuit, and the stay that kept Elián here in this country expired 24 minutes ago at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. I want to bring our legal analyst Pam Falk into the conversation now for a little bit of analysis. What imprint do you think this leaves on U.S.-Cuban relations and on the American people?
Well, you could practically gauge the difference between Juan Miguel's comments at the airport now and when he first arrived. there's clearly a sense of much more cooperation. And in what's usually a tense relationship between the United States and Cuba, we've seen an awful lot of unusually cooperative relations on the legal battle over Elián, on the ability to unite Elián and his father, on immigration agreements, and on door openings. And so we've already seen the U.S. Congress begin to perhaps change the 40-year embargo on sales of food, and I think that is Elián's imprint.
And that was with their signaling approval last night of Congressman Nethercutt's bill to sell medicine and food to Cuba, which begins to open the door just a little bit. However, asked about that at a press conference in the East Room of the White House today, President Clinton said that, of course, relations between the United States and Cuba are governed by the Cuba Democracy Act, which, very briefly in broad brushstrokes, states you show us some moves towards democratization of Cuba and opening up your society, show us some confidence-building measures, and we'll start to think about the idea of dealing a little more closely with you. President Clinton, however, said that even after they saw what appeared to be some positive developments several years ago, the shoot-down of the Brothers to the Rescue aircraft, what the president termed an act of murder, changed everything, in his words, Pam.
Yes, absolutely. I think we'll see a slow dance, a one-step, two-step, in which, just like in 1996, we begin to see the United States try moves and see if the Cuban government responds. And we're seeing that in travel and migration. And I think this opened quite a bit of doors in terms of what we can see in terms of cooperation in the future. It certainly made the atmosphere an awful lot better.
One of the things that President Clinton also said this afternoon was that if Juan Miguel and Elián wanted to stay in this country, it would be fine with him, but he believes here that an important principle was upheld as well as U.S. law. Of the raid that took Elián from the Miami home, the president said, "Do I wish it had happened in a less traumatic fashion? You bet I do." But further on the issue of U.S.-Cuba relations, let's go to Byron Pitts in Havana. And Byron, while there has been some words of cooperation between the government in Havana and the United States, it would seem to me as though Fidel Castro may well play this as a big victory.
Oh, John, no question about it. I mean, victory is the word that several people used when I spoke with them today in Havana. And picking up on what Pam Falk said earlier about this sense of cooperation, you know, like in sports, it's easy to shake hands when you feel like you've won the game. You know, winners needn't be bitter. So there's a sense here in Cuba, at least, that in this international tug of war, that they won. They won. Fidel Castro feels that he's won before his people, and he's won before the world around. That from the beginning, it was perceived that they had sort of morality on their side, that a child should, in fact, be with his father. So I think for the moment, while Fidel Castro is talking friendly with the United States, there's no real expectation, I think, that that may go on much longer. The plan for Elián when he gets back, there'll be, again, that small celebration this evening. There's talk that Fidel Castro may order a massive demonstration, say, by Saturday or Sunday, and that's when we could see 400 to 500,000 Cubans coming out to the streets of Havana and the other cities here.
Let's go back to Bob Orr at Dulles Airport as the aircraft begin to roll out onto the taxiway and then to the runway. Bob, what's the scene there?
Well, John, it's interesting. This took a little longer to leave the tarmac than we thought, and I will tell you that Elián's plane is now being escorted by a van with flashing lights. But just in the last minute or two, we've gotten some information here that there may be a concern about the weather, and we may be, in fact, into a weather hold. That would mean that the flight could taxi into position or nearly into position, and if the weather does not cooperate, it could be held for a while. Now, the second plane is not yet even close to taking off. I just noticed as I look over there that it is still connected to what is called a portable power ground generator. All planes plug into these things so that the air conditioning can kick on and they can get electric power. I don't know if there's a problem with that airplane, but it has not yet been disconnected, so it will be here for a while. So let me, if I can, just get some information here from Tom Seam, who's working with me. We do have a weather hold.
On the Learjet only.
On the Learjet only. So just to clarify, there is a weather hold on the second plane only. That is the plane with the 4 friends from Cuba and their parents and guardians. Apparently, and we say apparently because we won't know till we see it, apparently Elián's plane containing the González family has been at least cleared to try the takeoff. That's if the weather cooperates.
I'm going to make an assumption here based on my limited knowledge as a student pilot, but I would take it that it might have something to do with range, Bob. Looking at the weather radar here, there is a line of thunderstorms that looks like it stretches for about 200 or 300 miles southwest of where you are. Might it be difficult for that plane to fly around it?
I think that's possible, and if I can I bring in Tara Hamilton real quick? We're live on television, and she doesn't have a microphone, but what's the situation here, Tara?
Well, the first plane is leaving now. My understanding is within the next 15 minutes, the second plane will be leaving.
There was a delay with weather? What's the concern?
My understanding, it was just one plane is faster than the other, so the other plane is waiting until the first one takes off.
Right,
so they'll both be arriving at similar times.
So the thunderstorms are not a real problem?
Not weather-related.
Oh, it's not weather-related?
It's not weather-related. It may be, but what we understand is that both planes will be leaving here. And the first plane has already left. The next plane is going to be leaving in the next 15 minutes is our latest information.
Right, thanks very much.
It has more to do with the nature of the aircraft.
Thanks very much. That's Tara Hamilton from the Airports Authority, and I trust that you heard most of that. She's saying it really wasn't weather as the primary concern. It's just that the Learjet, which is the second plane, is a little bit faster, and they want them both to get there, presumably for some kind of orchestrated arrival in Havana. But I will tell you this, John, that we did hear from the operations folks that weather is a concern. There are long lines of storms both north here and south of here, and it is tricky trying to weave through there.
Sure. Well, for what will happen immediately when they arrive, let's go back to Havana. And Byron Pitts, it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that their arrival will be broadcast on national television?
Yes, that is correct, John. The Cuban TV is already in place, waiting. They're still stringing cables at this moment in preparation. The expectation is once they touch ground, the plane will be met by Fidel Castro, some other Cuban officials, members of Elián's family, and at that point they'll be taken away. As far as Fidel Castro is concerned, from our perspective at this moment, is once the world sees the image of him welcoming young Elián back to Cuba, it's over, and now he can move on to other issues.
Right. You know, it's interesting, too, that in his press conference today, President Clinton, in alluding to the shoot-down of the Brothers to the Rescue aircraft, said that sometimes it makes him wonder if Castro never wants to normalize relations with the United States, that he'll have, this is me paraphrasing his words, a convenient demon to evoke so that he can explain why things remain so bad in Cuba. And Byron, does Fidel Castro to this day continue to hold up the United States as the demon that bedevils Cuba and the Cuban people?
Oh, John, without question. In talking about the images that people will see, keep in mind, as you well know, not every household in Cuba has a TV set. And the only message, the only messenger in Cuba is Fidel Castro, and he controls things. And you're right, as long as he can lead the people here to believe that the United States is the enemy, therefore he is the good guy, he will remain in power. So the expectation is he will get as much mileage out of this as he can, appear to be the gracious winner. And then the expectation by many people we've spoken with who keep track of Cuba, that at some point we'll see Fidel Castro return to the old Fidel and the ongoing conflict with the United States.
Let's look a little more right now as we watch the plane sitting on the tarmac waiting for the rollout to the runway, and then what will be a quick, probably 2-hour and 45-minute to 3-hour trip back to Cuba, the legal aspect of this. And we'll bring in Pam Falk again. The Vice President and several other people, including the Miami family, I should add, said that they wanted this case decided in family court, that this was an issue not of immigration but of custody, and it should be determined if the child belonged with his father, the only remaining family member of his birth family, or if he belonged with relatives in Miami. Janet Reno wouldn't allow it to go to family court. She kept it in the realm of immigration. What was her reasoning for doing that?
The basic reason is that the federal government has jurisdiction over federal issues, particularly immigration. And while you're so right, John, the case began in family court, and there was an initial effort to place this in the realm of a custody battle. What became very important when Juan Miguel stated his interest in Elián returning was that this was an immigration issue. And so even though the first judge in Florida Family Court gave temporary custody to Lázaro González, it then moved very quickly after a dismissal in family court in Miami to federal court and then up the ladder to the Supreme Court, because what the Supreme Court ultimately said was this is a government issue, it's an immigration issue, and they have the ultimate right to decide.
And this went all the way. There was no other avenue that they could have pursued outside of this.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, the Attorney General wanted from the very beginning to say that the Miami family had their day in court. They certainly did. It went right up the ladder.
We just, as we watch the aircraft taxi out there, want to review some of the memorable pictures of the day. This aircraft now headed for one of the runways at Dulles Airport. Here's Juan Miguel and Elián, their final waves, and the famous wave of Elián that we saw so many times at his Miami home as they boarded the private jet, which will carry them back to Cuba. And there we are again, looking at the planes as they roll out. One aircraft carrying Elián, his father, his stepmother, his stepbrother, and the other aircraft carrying the friends and a cousin who came up to spend some time with him. Byron Pitts in Havana, the Miami relatives have said that if Elián is put in seclusion when he gets back to Havana, it's going to be so that he can be brainwashed back to Fidel Castro's way of thinking after being exposed to American culture. Is there any evidence at all that that's what's going to happen?
Well, John, I guess it depends on who you talk to and what their motives are. I mean, keep in mind, this is a child who, when he lived in the United States, didn't just live the American dream. I mean, he lived the life that the average American child has lived. He went to amusement parks. He was showered with gifts by politicians. I think part of the motivation, the Cubans will tell you, in putting the family in seclusion once they get here, the life that he may have enjoyed momentarily in the United States, he will not have here in Cuba. So there needs to be some transition time for him to get accustomed to realize that he won't have Pokemon every morning when he wakes up, for instance. Also, another concern, according to the Cuban government, is they want the child to be in a position where he can be kept away from the news media. At this point, we're not being told exactly where Elián and his family will be staying when they first arrive, and when they'll go back to Caracas. Is that brainwashing? Again, it depends on one's perspective.
Will he be held up, and will Juan Miguel be held up as national heroes when they arrive?
Well, I think that's already the case when you talk to any Cuban person you may meet on the street. Fidel Castro has said that they will respect the family's privacy and that they'll be allowed to live a normal life. But no one really expects that to be possible. And just walking in Old Havana today, you can still look inside some shops, and next to a picture of Fidel Castro is a picture of 6-year-old Elián González. When he goes back to Caracas, the town about 2 hours east of Havana, a small town where many people still get around by horse and buggy, he is a superstar in that community. So I think it's unreasonable to think he'll ever have a normal life in Cuban standards, and he will, in fact, be a national hero.
But you would have to wonder, though, Byron, how long will that last unless Elián González is put on some track to make a special further contribution to Cuba? Might this all just go away in a number of months or perhaps a year or two?
Well, I think it's reasonable to say at this point it will last for as long as Fidel Castro is alive. That he is this child that in this tug-of-war between the U.S. and the United States, that Fidel Castro, at least in his mind, in the mind of Cuban officials, he won that tug-of-war. So I think, for the very least, as long as Fidel Castro is in power, Elián will be a national figure. President Clinton left open the possibility that Juan Miguel and Elián are always welcome back to the United States, and who knows what this child might decide to do once he becomes a man. So I think for the short term, he is a national celebrity in this country. Fidel Castro will use that to his advantage. And he said at this point, though we've known in the past that Fidel Castro can change his mind when he chooses to, he said at this point he will not make the child into his own puppet, but we will see.
Our apologies for some of the snowy pictures that you just saw, but they're being taken from a helicopter which is beaming a signal all the way back to Baltimore, and because of weather in the area, the signal breaks up from time to time. There's a view from another helicopter of the plane going down the taxiway. Another interesting aspect of all of this is just how much this case cost the American people, from overtime of U.S. Marshals to transportation costs to the raid that occurred back on April the 12th. The Justice Department came out with an itemized statement today saying that this case has cost the American people $1,826,000. And Pamela Falk, it would seem to me as though that is an extraordinary amount of money for a case like this.
Yes, I think it's a great expenditure, and there's a real sense of weariness by the American people of what they've expended, how much time this took, and the fact that this child had been separated from his father. I think the other issue to point out is when we were talking, and Byron and you were talking about the issues of the U.S. and Cuba, is to say that what Castro has made it very clear to do is separate Miami from the U.S. government. In other words, his battle has been, to some extent, saying that it's Miami that was preventing Elián from coming back and from being, letting his father come back, not the U.S. government, which of course was on his side in the legal battle. And that legal battle and all of the incidental costs have cost the taxpayer an awful lot. I think there's a great sense of relief, John, on the American public side of just letting him go back. And perhaps more, and I think we need to point out, more in the death of his mother, which the psychologist who visited him here said he would really just begin to do when he was back in his own bedroom in Cardenas.
I know that you're not a psychologist, but you have to wonder what's going on in the child's mind, and that he loses his mother at sea, he's thrust into the arms of other family members, he bonds with Maris Lasis, he is then taken from her and put back into the arms of his father, and though we believe that he had a pretty productive relationship with his father, that's what we're led to believe by the Cuban government, nobody really knows what the true nature of that is, and now he's being taken from the United States and back into Cuba again. So what will the psychological impact be?
Well, it was his father who told us in the CBS interview that his son did not have time to grieve. And I think that's an important point, that now is a very important developmental time, as far as his own father is concerned, when this young boy, 6 years old, has to get back to reality.
And here is a scene that is going to cause grief for many people and relief for many other people. Let's take a look as Elián González's plane takes off from the runway at Dulles Airport en route to Cuba. And there it is, airborne, about 2 hours and 45 minutes, perhaps 3 hours at the outside. It'll make a left turn heading south, and we'll keep going until it gets to Cuba. Let's bring Byron Pitts back into the picture. What about Juan Miguel González? Byron, he was a security guard at a resort hotel. Will he have a different life now that he has, I guess, managed to orchestrate what some people in Cuba might call a coup d'etat against the United States?
John, his stature has improved. Already Juan Miguel González lived a good life based on Cuban standards. I mean, he had access to tourists, and you would expect that his life has changed now for the better in Cuba.
Byron Pitts in Havana, thank you kindly. And Byron will be back, of course, coming up on the CBS Evening News with a complete wrap-up on today's events, including the arrival in Havana of Elián González as soon as he gets down. This has been a CBS News special report. Elián González going home to Cuba. I'm John Roberts, CBS News in New York. Stay tuned to this CBS station for further updates as developments warrant. And for a complete report on today's events, I'll be back tonight sitting in for Dan Rather with the CBS Evening News.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
This is CBS.
I'll have enough ammo to take you away from me for good. But if I don't do what David wants, I'm dead.
That was the bomb. We were flying. Oh, I could ride until dawn, Jake.
Oh, maybe we'll do that someday. Listen, you were holding on pretty tight. Maybe I was going too fast.
No. I just wanted to make sure that the wind was against my face. That was the best day of my entire life.
You know, that was a ride that you never got in high school.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm about to give you the ride of your life. That is, if I ever get to be in front where I belong.
Oh, okay, well, all things come to those who wait.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that some biker philosophy or what?
Kidding me? Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance? That was my Bible. Listen, I know I promised you a big night and all that.
No, I'm having a blast already.
Really? Well, you know, I made reservations at the Lakeview. However, I canceled them because...
Because who wants to eat squab when you've been out on the open road, right? You know, I'm thinking something more like French fries, double cheeseburger, triple shake.
You are a girl after my own heart.
I think maybe we were separated at birth.
Well, I have to tell you that I'm feeling a tad bit more than fraternal.
Today's been full of surprises.
That's a good thing, I hope.
Better than expected. So here's to hoping that my good luck lasts.
Rose, you gotta get me out of this joint. That's Holden's mom.
Hey, listen, you trying to blow my cover or what?
It's okay. Holden went out.
Good. I got enough on that Katie Piranha to shut her up for a really long time and get myself out of this burb.
That is great, because I am so ready to skip out on all this domestic bliss.
Oh, come on, Mitz. Okie dokie Dale isn't that bad. There's a lot here that could work for somebody.
Like what?
Nice people. Oh, a little too Pleasantville, maybe, but nice people. That Holden. Great guy. Wrapped up in a great bod. Let me tell you, it's really been difficult messing with his head.
Because he's smart.
No, he's decent, you know? He's like Gary Cooper, one of those guys in those old movies, you know? I mean, really, what has the guy done that is so wrong? Just love his wife and want her back in the worst way. Oh, a prize like that doesn't come in a million Cracker Jack boxes.
Rose D'Angelo. You're going soft on the guy.
No. Just get caught up in my brilliant acting sometimes. I'm no fool. I know when to split, when the splitting is good.
Well, that's good to hear, because Holden cornered me again, wanting to have a chat about you two, and he is not a happy camper. In fact, he is on a rampage to find out what's going on.
Oh, hey, I thought I might see you here today. Where's Lily?
That's actually why I'm here. Have you seen her?
Not since this morning. So, you haven't seen her either?
No, I haven't. Spread the word that I'm looking for, all right? If she shows up, send her to my office.
Yeah, get in line.
What's that?
Nothing. Have you spoken to Molly? Maybe she's with her.
No, I drove by Molly's courtyard. I didn't see her car. Why would Lily be with Molly?
I don't know, just a hunch.
What's going on, Henry? You look like somebody's about ready to drop the bomb.
Yeah, and your wife has her finger on the button. Lily has my entire future in her hands, and while I'm sitting here sweating bullets, she's off gallivanting around the town.
Henry, wait a minute.
Now, listen, we rehearse in 10 minutes. I don't have time right now. If I see Lily, I will tell her that you are looking for her. Come on, people, let's go. Play.
Hey, boss.
Hey, you haven't seen Lily, have you?
No, she's probably at home.
No, I just came from there.
Well, why would she be here?
Just a hunch. She may still stop by. I know Henry's ranting and raving about talking to her.
Why would Henry and Lily need to talk?
It seems that Lily has Henry's future in her hands. I don't know what that means, but you know Henry. Life's a drama.
Yeah, seems like something freaked him out.
Yeah, well, whatever. I can't worry about Henry's problems right now.
Did Lily say anything to you about Henry?
I'm lucky if Lily tells me anything these days.
Holden, are you okay? Is everything all right? I mean, if there's anything I can do for you.
No, Katie, not now. If you do see Lily, though, just tell her that I'll be in my office, all right? Thanks.
I will. If you need someone.
Thank you.
Oh. Maybe that future Lily is holding in her hands is a pink slip. Rose is gonna do it. She's gonna fire Henry. Oh, I am home free.
Your doctor says take fiber every day. Which one? Metamucil with psyllium, which can give you excess gas, or Citrusel 100% soluble fiber, which doesn't. Metamucil or Citrusel. Whose taste people prefer? 2 to 1. Citrusel. Don't just have a regular day. Have a great day.
With Palmolive Spring Sensations.
Spring is in the air. Everywhere I look around.
Botanical blends, so fresh.
It's springtime every time you do dishes.
Palmolive Spring Sensations.
Spring is in the air.
1-800-CONTACTS is the world's largest contact lens store, with 4 million contacts in stock and 50,000 shipped every day. You'll get delivery right away. Call 1-800-CONTACTS. We deliver. You save.
My dad and I are pretty close. One day last year, his arthritis was acting up, so he took some Bayer. It has all the strength of prescription Tylenol, and it relieved his pain. The next day, he suffered a heart attack. Incredibly, the doctor said Bayer not only relieved his arthritis pain, but aspirin helped save his life. Knowing all that Bayer can do, why would anyone take any other pain reliever again?
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
Kodak moments happen every day. And with Kodak Max, you don't have to worry about light or movement. It's the most versatile, all-purpose film.
Introducing new Nacho Chip Air Crisps. This could get a little confusing.
Nachos in the cracker aisle?
Interesting times. I eat them like chips, but they're big, like crackers.
They're these little snacky things.
Snacky things?
I can eat a lot without feeling like I ate a lot.
Must be the air.
Nachos in a bar? Not in a bag? Okay, I can deal with a little ambiguity in my life.
New Nacho Tortilla Chip Air Crisps. Snacky little things, those Air Crisps.
You know, for a second there on the phone, I wasn't so sure you were going to go through with this date.
Why, did I sound nervous or something?
No, you just made it sound like it could have gone either way. I'm just glad you leaned in my direction.
Well, since that tape business is behind me now.
Right. You just make a decision, you let it go. That's the best way to handle it.
I'm starting to feel a lot better about what I did. Thanks for your concern, Jake.
You're welcome. Listen, for the record, I know it was a big thing not to pursue Operation Payback. You've been after Katie and Henry ever since you woke up from the big sleep, but not using that tape must have been a challenge.
I'm just hoping that I did the right thing.
Please tell me that you did not open your big fat trap.
I'm his wife's best girlfriend. She's moved out on him. Naturally, he's got questions.
What did you do? What did you say to make him so suspicious?
Like I had to say boo? He's going on about that Simon Fraser, worried his wife is getting ready to split with him. But I chilled him right out. I told him all Lily ever did was sing Holden's praises in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And I told him it'll all be over real soon.
Look, Mitz, the next time you get the urge to help, squash it.
I said something wrong?
Just lay low, okay? Because we're coming into the home stretch. And as early as tomorrow, I could leave Sleepyville a very rich woman.
Lily, stop it!
We can fix it!
We need to get deeper into the cave,
No,
right?
no, come on, you hold the side, I'll hold the other one, you can
Lily, it won't hold. There's no point. You need to conserve our energy. We need to keep our strength up for what's ahead.
You mean it's gonna get worse?
Yes, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, okay? But this is the safest place on the whole island. Now sit down, okay? It's around you. We need to stay warm.
Yeah, I've been having this problem with my girlfriend. It's
Diarrhea. Get it, and you want it gone.
really good listener.
Imodium Advanced combines 2 medicines that relieve diarrhea plus cramps and bloating faster.
Was I right to invite my mom to my honeymoon?
Absolutely. Imodium Advanced.
Hair color this great after 33 days? It's Superior Preference from L'Oreal. Now my color won't fade out. The breakthrough weekly conditioning treatments right in the box for soft, shiny, superior color. Superior Preference from L'Oreal Paris. I'm worth it.
Switching to the local news, another serious outbreak of E. coli was traced to the north side today, where hundreds of
It's
people...
news like that that makes you want to run out for the best disinfecting spray you can find. I used to use Lysol, but I switched to Clorox disinfecting spray. Here's why.
As the surface is touched, Lysol's protection fades, while Clorox keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria, even after touching, for 24 hours. A little good news for a change. Clorox disinfecting spray lasts longer than Lysol.
Oh boy, here we go again.
They'll do anything for an arbor mist.
I'm okay! An arbor mist for that?
Nah. Now that deserves an arbor mist.
New from Arbor Mist. Cranberry Twist White Merlot. Great tasting wine. A splash of fruit. Can't resist the mist.
You look so radiant.
Introducing a totally effective breakthrough in anti-aging.
Have you been on vacation?
With an exclusive vitamin B and E complex called Vitaniacin.
Of course, you've been away. You look beautiful.
New Total Effects from Olay. Proven to reveal a remarkable transformation.
Survivor is the #1 show in America. The bug has bitten big time. If you haven't seen it,
Walking to our death.
tonight is the perfect time to start.
Something great is coming.
Rumors are beginning to fly.
There is no romance.
It's all about sex.
And the 2 tribes go to battle for food.
That way you can eat more dirt, because you looking like hell.
Time magazine calls Survivor TV's biggest success.
Yeah.
Who will be forced off the island next?
It's time for you to go, bud.
All new Survivor, CBS tonight.
Viewers have spoken. City of Angels is one of the most compelling dramas on TV.
Look, my patient. I'm not going to stand around and watch him die.
The show is touching and funny.
Is that a pig?
How the hell that get in there?
The most talked about new drama of the season is back.
Together we can make this a proud place again.
City of Angels returns on a new night, CBS Thursday, July 6th.
Dharma in Playboy. We're the one show to take you behind the scenes on the Millionaire Bride's nude photo shoot.
After day 2, I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Then Survivor Love in the Jungle, next ET.
Tonight at 7 on CBS 2.
Old dogs can't learn new tricks.
I don't think so.
Leave the heavy lifting to the men.
Oh, really?
There are never enough hours in the day.
Since when?
Nothing compares to the ballet.
Got that right.
Location is everything.
Bingo.
Now get 2 for 1 or 50% off enrollment fee. Call 1-800-204-2400.
24-hour fitness. All kinds of stuff for all kinds of workouts.
It's the 93 days of summer. Look for Aero 93 at a beach near you and pick up the new Aero 93 and CBS 2 beach bag. Get $1 off a Superstar with cheese from Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Get totally soaked at Knott's Soak City, USA. The all-new water park opening June 17th next to Knott's Berry Farm. Adults just $15.95. Kids 3 to 11, $11.95. It's the 93 days of summer with CBS 2 and Aero 93. Look for us this Saturday at Long Beach.
Could your 4th of July celebration land you in jail? Today at 5.
Survivor's the #1 show in America. Don't miss a minute. All new Survivor, CBS tonight.
Okay. Well, I don't want to change the Okay, so that's how you open the place. And then when you want to close at the end of the night, you do the same thing backwards.
Easy,
Okay.
no problem.
And remember, when you turn the alarm on, you have to be out of here in 30 seconds. If you're not, the cops will be here. Jesse and I did it. It's not pretty. Okay?
We can do it. We can do it. Don't worry.
All right. Good. Good. Yeah. Because if this New York gig comes through, then you guys are going to have to take over by yourselves
That's
for a
no
while.
problem.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure.
Danny and I
We
talked
can
about
handle
it.
it.
He's going to book the talent and handle the vendors, and I'm going to run the restaurant. I can't believe how fast everything is happening. It's just, no, we just got settled into a normal life, and now New York calls. Here we go. Jesse and I might be leaving.
Yeah, but it's just a year. It's not forever.
I'll bring everybody, you know?
Well, I have a feeling Jesse's gonna get so famous after this mural in Times Square, you guys are never gonna come back.
Yeah, well, if that happens, you better come to the big city and hang out with us.
Of course.
So, do you think you guys are okay? Like, we're just...
Well, next day,